let's talk about one of the most powerful ways to tell a story: drama. But we're not just going to give you a dry definition. Nope, we're going to look at it as a special kind of blueprint, a detailed plan for building a story that literally comes alive right in front of you.
So, let's start with a question. Think about it. Why does a live play feel so different from watching a movie? There's this electricity in the room, right? An energy you can't quite put your finger on. Well, the answer to that question gets right to the heart of what makes drama so unique. And here's why. A play isn't a finished thing like a novel is. You should really think of it more like an architect's blueprint. It's a plan for action. It's designed from the ground up to be built, live, with a real audience watching.
And that's the key difference. The story unfolds through dialogue and performance, what the characters say and what they do. You know what's missing? A narrator. There's nobody holding your hand explaining the plot. You're just dropped right into the middle of everything as it happens.
This really highlights the big split, doesn't it? A novel or a poem, that's a complete work right there on the page. It's meant to be read. But a play is intentionally incomplete. The script is just the starting point. It's written with the absolute intention of being brought to life, of being performed.
All right, so if we're building this story, let's look at the two main materials we have to work with: the words the characters use and the war they're fighting, whether it's out in the open or deep inside themselves.
In drama, dialogue does all the heavy lifting. I mean, it's not just small talk. Every single line is a tool. It reveals who a character really is, it pushes the story forward, and it exposes all the tension and the drama between people. The characters are literally building their own world, word by word.
And this is the engine. This one idea is the power source for the entire thing. Without some kind of conflict, some struggle, some tension, you just don't have a story. It's the friction between what a character wants and whatever is standing in their way that creates all the heat and energy of a play.
And this conflict usually plays out in two main arenas. It can be internal, a war someone is fighting inside their own head, or it can be external, a clash with another person, with the rules of society, or even with the forces of nature. The really great plays, of course, have a bit of both.
So if the story is all told through action, you might be wondering, how does the playwright, the architect, control what that action looks like? Well, they do it by painting with words, using a really specific set of tools we call stage directions.
These are like the super detailed notes on the blueprint. Stage directions tell actors how to move and speak. The setting builds the physical world the story lives in. And things like props and costumes add all these layers of meaning. It all comes back to the #1 rule of drama: show it, don't just tell it.
And this is where the real power is. A physical action, something as simple as a character washing their hands, can mean so much. Are they desperately trying to wash away their guilt, like Lady Macbeth? Or are they trying to prove their own innocence? The action itself becomes a symbol that can say way more than words ever could.
Okay, we've got the blueprint, we've got the building materials, we've got the instructions, so let's talk about that final, irreplaceable ingredient that makes it all spark to life: the performance itself.
And this brings us right back to that first question we asked. This is why a play feels so different. The live performance makes it real, it makes it immediate, it makes it visceral. You are in the room with these characters, breathing the same air. You don't just watch the story, you experience it. That shared energy is what finally turns the blueprint into a living, breathing thing. It's also why two different directors can take the exact same script and build two totally different emotional worlds. The blueprint is the same, but the building is always alive.
So let's bring this all home. The unique power of drama, when you boil it all down, comes from this one simple principle. You aren't told what something means, you are shown it.
When you put drama next to other forms of writing, you can really see how special it is. Poetry uses beautiful language, prose uses narration to tell you a story, but drama stands apart. Its power comes from mixing dialogue, action, and live performance all into one experience that hits all your senses.
And in the end, that's what it's all about. That's the real magic of drama. It takes these simple words on a flat page, the blueprint, and builds them into a three-dimensional living experience that happens right in front of our eyes.
So I'll leave you with this one last thought. Think about a story you absolutely love. From a book, a movie, it doesn't matter. Now imagine it wasn't just on a page or a screen. How would it change if you had to experience it live, unfolding right there in front of you? That is the power of drama.